What's up?
Just a minute, Gracie. Why don't you take a seat? All right. Fun time's over. I want to know what's going on, and I want to know now.
I have no idea what you mean.
Nor I.
Then let me give you a clue. Earlier today, I had a certain unpublished manuscript in my room. Someone took that manuscript, and that someone was... Mosley. Shortly afterwards, it was stolen from the first thief by... Madeline Bouthane. The second thief couldn't hold on to it either. It was stolen for the third time by... Vittorio Buccelli.
And the third thief disposed of it by... burying it.
Really?
Yep.
But this is slanderous. You cannot prove a word.
Yeah. He can prove it. Every one of you left prints.
Santa cielo.
Merde.
I admit it. I did take the manuscript, but I didn't do it for my own personal gain or anything. I'm CIA.
Aha! That explains it.
Outrageous!
God, Mose. Congrats.
Thanks.
Mademoiselle Bouthane, what's your excuse?
I do not know what you mean.
Don't you? Let's consider the fact that you have way too much equipment for a tour guide.
But I am technically minded.
And lethal. My guess is French Internal Secret Service.
You are much too smart for your own good.
Oh, and you, Signore? Or should I call you Father?
It is not illegal for a priest to travel without a collar.
Oh, but you're not just a priest, are you? You came on a train from Rome, yet you lied. You said it was Naples. Why tell such a pointless fabrication unless you were hiding something? Like the fact that you're with the Vatican.
That is not a crime either.
But stealing manuscripts is.
Perhaps it is time for you to reveal your secrets, Gabriel.
Sure. I'm a private investigator. I'm here about the kidnapping of Prince James of Albany's infant son.
James Stewart's son has been kidnapped?
When did this happen?
You really didn't know? Either of you?
No.
Certamente no. I came only to report on any activity in the area. The Vatican feels that there are certain subversive parties who are trying to fabricate stories. Perhaps even go so far as to stage certain finds, plant material. Naturally, the Church is anxious that anything of the sort be prevented and exposed.
Perhaps you are right, Signore. But we believe that there is something buried near Rennes-le-Château.
That's why you were given this assignment?
I have been watching Rennes-le-Château for a few years now. There are certain political interests involved. Interests which might not be working for the long-term stability of the present French government. Besides, if there is an archaeological discovery to be made here, such findings should be controlled by the French authorities. We want to make sure nothing gets smuggled out without our knowing.
I thought you needed excavation permits to do any serious digging.
Hypothetically, but several parties have applied for permits. We can only deny them for so long.
Mose?
The CIA thinks there's something going on over here with the Freemasons, the Priory, and the Knights of Malta. You name it. We've got to make sure our interests are being protected. You know, the good old US of A. Well, they sent me on a tour as a kind of an audition, I guess. They didn't want anybody with legit CIA credentials. You know, anyone who could be traced. But I'll probably be starting full-time when I get back.
And the digging, monsieur?
Oh, intelligence got that tip from somewhere. I was just supposed to, check it out.
So it was the CIA who infiltrated our computer system. We thought it was the Priori. It is not the first theory we have had, I am afraid. Our cipher experts work on it when they can, and it appears this was another failed attempt. Right, monsieur?
I sure didn't find anything.
And now we can go, yes? I assume you have not found your kidnapper among us?
Doesn't look it.
You were very masterful, but you have not gotten everything from me yet. Perhaps you should come by my room and try a little harder, hmm?
And I always thought the idea of chastity belts was cruel and sexist. I finally get it.
I doubt they invented one strong enough for Madeline. Thanks for finding the manuscript. Where was it?
Bukele buried it out in the valley. I saw his moped from Blanchfort.
Good job, Grace. As usual.
Prince James is at the Villa Bethania. He wants to see you.
I bet.
And there's some real progress on the treasure. With Sydney, I was able to...
I'll, come up later, okay?
Suit yourself.
That must be Prince James's car. Larry's here.
I do appreciate your returning the manuscript, Mr. Knight.
If I'd known what Mr. Sinclair here was up to, I wouldn't have taken it in the first place.
Well, what's done is done. But I think it's time we had a serious conversation.
Absolutely. This was once Saunier's house. Nice, but kinda outdated now. He's not looking too happy today. That guy's the size of a small convertible. Boy, he looks like he hadn't slept in days. Poor guy. Do you consider yourself to be a bloodline descendant, Prince James?
Well, it may sound foolish to you, but a belief in our lineage and the responsibility that it brings has been the motivation behind everything the Stuarts have done for centuries. You see, we take our heritage very seriously.
So, you think the kidnapping is a response to Sinclair's manuscript, to its positioning you as the head of the bloodline?
It's not just the manuscript, but yes.
Have you received any demands from the kidnappers, or?
No. Look, I'm willing to give up my claim forever if that's what they want, as long as my son is safe. But we don't even know who to contact to make such a concession. The Priory swears they're not responsible, and no one else has come forward. My God, I'm at the end of my rope.
Perhaps it's not political.
If I let myself even consider that it might be the night visitors, I can't imagine what they would want with
I'm sorry. I know how awful this is. What are these negotiations between the Freemasons and the Priory about?
Because of our common heritage, there's certain wisdom and property that's shared. And now that the dispute over the bloodline heir is coming to a head, these things must be settled.
You're trying to get permits to excavate out here, aren't you?
I don't know where you heard such a thing. But I admit we have been hedging our bets, in case negotiations go badly.
What kind of property do the Freemasons have?
We have a few of the treasures that have always been sacred to the descendants of Moses.
Like what? The Ark of the Covenant? Something like that?
I'm not at liberty to say, but the bloodline treasures are dispersed. Whoever takes the mantle, in the end, will want them. All of them.
What about the Priory? What do they have that you want?
The Priory controls the treasure the Templars couldn't take with them to Scotland because it was embedded in the very landscape.
The treasure of Rennes-le-Château?
Yes, but they're not to touch it until we've agreed on a treaty. You see, we have things they want too.
Does the grapevine motif mean anything to you? Viticulture in general?
Yes. The wine of communion represents the blood of Jesus, and the grape represents his body. And the grapevine, in some circles, represents the desposony, the house of David. You have heard Jesus called the fruit of David, I assume?
Of course.
Where did you see such a motif, Mr. Knight?
Oh, it's in the church.
What about my son, Mr. Knight? I'm willing to tell you certain things, but please, have you learned anything new?
I've narrowed it down to a few suspects. In fact, I was going to follow up on that right now.
Very well. Mesme and I will continue our own efforts. We'll see you back here this evening, then.
Absolutely. And, try not to worry.
I do appreciate your tenaciousness, Mr. Knight.
Yeah? I've had shots for that, but never mind. I'll see you.
What an extraordinary man.
It's our best bud, your pal and mine, Mr. Priory of Sion. Excuse me, Mr. Arnaud.
Hello, Mr. Knight?
I've been meaning to ask you something.
And what is that?
I've been meaning to ask you about your association with the Priory of Sion.
Where did you hear such a thing?
Prince James's men? See, I'm working for Prince James. I came here to see about the kidnapping myself.
I see. Well, I'm not really surprised, though I would have expected more polish from Prince James's agents. Ce n'est pas d'importance. You will learn nothing from me. The Priory would never stoop to kidnapping a child.
And tell me, what sort of things would the Priory stoop to?
I have nothing to say to you about the Priory, Mr. Knight. But whatever you hear from Prince James, remember, it is their side of the story.
The Priory is trying to get official permission to excavate in the area, isn't that right?
Yes, but so are the Freemasons. Naturally, we have an advantage being French.
And what exactly are you planning to excavate?
Far more learned ears than yours have been denied that knowledge.
Really? Including yours? Have they told you what it is?
Really? Quel toupet!
Excelsior Montreux, the owner of Chateau de Serras, is he a Priory member too?
Not at all. Why?
Oh, just wondering. The Priory does have issues with Prince James, though, doesn't it? Political issues?
What could you understand about such matters? We have been working for centuries to get the bloodline on the throne of France. Do you know, we almost succeeded. Marie Antoinette was Desposny, and she had a son who would have been king. But the damned revolution ruined everything.
Yeah, revolutions can really fuck up your long-term conspiracies. I take it the Priory doesn't like the idea of the Stuarts regaining power.
In Scotland, perhaps. Not in France. Not over the European Union. The Habsburg-Lorraines are a much more critical line. Besides, we could hardly accept a Scot on the throne.
I see your point. Oh, those bagpipes can get annoying. So there really is a treasure?
Beyond measure.
Well, so why don't you just go in and take it?
The Templars lived a long time ago.
You don't know where it is, do you?
There are certain disadvantages to keeping information in the hands of a chosen few. When the French Revolution occurred, the Abbé here was the guardian. He was forced to flee to Spain. His records were lost for decades. Then Saunier rediscovered them. He was a greedy bastard, and he was tormented by the Great Secret. He offered fragments of the documents for exorbitant sums. He fabricated and destroyed evidence and died without revealing what he knew.
That's why you've leaked information, isn't it? You hoped someone would solve the riddle for you.
There is a season for everything, and the season for the unveiling is coming very soon. One way or another, the treasure will come to light.
What is it you're so determined to unveil?
One day soon, you shall know. Now excuse me, Mr. Knight. Oh, and I do wish you luck in finding the infant.
Oh, talking to the Abbé is like dancing without a floor. I'll go get the Harley. It looks like an empty plastic water bottle to me. It's gotta be Estelle's. Lady Howard's lips have probably never touched plastic in her life. I don't want to take it. Binoculars. I got some with my bike, too. I already got a pair. Got it. What a great mound of turpitude. Oh, poor Estelle. She's kind of like a faithful bulldog, isn't she? She doesn't shut up that often. I'd hate to spoil the moment.
Good afternoon, Mr. Knight.
You need to slow down before you hit oil.
I appreciate your concern. I'll be finishing up here soon.
Nothing, huh?
No, not a thing.
Does she really need money that badly?
Lily's not the sort to live like ordinary people. She was raised to shine. Oh, you wouldn't understand. Now, if you'll excuse me.
There's nothing here but trees. It's a big old orange rock. This must be where Gracie found the manuscript. There's nothing in there now. It's Madeline's room. Bucelli's in room 21. That's the Mosemeister's room. Vaza's room. Mosley's right. She is a babe. I really need to figure out what I'm gonna do. Can we talk about the case for a minute?
Of course.
I've been thinking about our list of suspects. Larry and Prince James are Freemasons. The Abbé is Priory. I think we can cross them off.
Right. Bukele is Vatican, Madeline is French Internal Secret Service, and Mosley is, God help us, CIA.
Yeah, makes you think about renouncing your U.S. citizenship, doesn't it?
I've survived Gingrich, I can survive this. But anyway, it's starting to feel like the end of 10 Little Indians. There's hardly anybody left.
There's still Emilio and the two British gals.
Come on, they're harmless. Well, okay, they're not exactly harmless, from a sociological standpoint, but they are certainly not kidnappers. There's also Montreux. I deciphered Le Serpent Rouge, and it showed a red serpent on the map, with its tail wrapping right around Chateau de Serres. It really... well, it's pretty creepy.
I agree. He's our best suspect at the moment. I'll go check out Sarah's again. In the meantime, you keep an eye on Emilio, Lady Howard, and Estelle.
All right, but be careful.
I need to decide what it is I want to have happen before I talk to her about it. I don't want to screw up again. You've made some progress with Sydney, you said?
Yeah, I did. Several times.
Well, what'd you find out?
Oh, lots of stuff you probably don't care about. But it did help me find an entrance to an underground cave. I think Wilkes was onto it before he died.
That does sound promising. Maybe we can go over it later. I have a few last things I want to do first.
Sure.
I don't think either of us are inclined to do our usual shtick. Mosley's right. She is a babe. I really need to figure out what I'm gonna do. That analyze stuff is Gracie's thing. You know how women get when you tread on the turf? Estelle's fingerprint. I should probably put this in our suspect database. That analyze stuff is Gracie's thing. You know how women get when you tread on the turf? Have you noticed anything peculiar going on with the guests?
Besides the Mademoiselle Butane, the guests are all of the foreign persuasion. Peculiar is not a word Jean allows himself, compris?
I'll go get the Harley. Now that is downright rude. They're closed. Uh-oh. It's Marceau.
The chateau is closed, Monsieur Knight.
I noticed. Well, I didn't see a buzzer down at the gate, so I had to come up. Now, I hate to bother y'all, but I'm leaving the area today, and I really need to ask Mr. Montreux just a few more teensy questions. Oh, please.
Wait here.
My apologies, Mr. Knight. It is a very bad day for visitors.
Boy, I've had some of those. This is probably really inconvenient, but I'm leaving France today, and I was hoping to feature Sarah's in my article. You made quite an impression on me.
Did I?
Oh, yeah. What I was really hoping was to snag a few more bottles of that Merlot. My editors won't let me give anything 5 stars unless they've tasted it, and boy, that Merlot deserves 5 stars.
Oh, well then, I applaud your taste. Of course I can get you more bottles. I'll have Marceau open the tasting room.
Actually, I'm guessing, well, you guys have a wine cellar. Am I right?
Yes.
Could we go down there and get the wine? It'd make a much more romantic opening for my article. I could just make it up, but as you said yourself, God is in the details.
I don't believe I said that, but I couldn't agree more. I'll take you down myself.
Oh, wow. I knew this place would be great. I was reading about those Roman mines they had around here. Does this cellar attach to anything, like that?
No. Ah, here it is, the 76 Merlot.
I've been thinking about what you said. About how the breeding of grapes is like the breeding of people.
That is not what I said.
Oh, it's a terrific analogy. Maybe even the angle on my new story. So, would you say this Merlot is like, say, a king of wines? Or just a gorgeous camp? Look at that. God, am I an idiot?
No, please, don't bother. It's...
Ow!
Oh my, you cut yourself.
Oh, it's nothing.
You are asking about the wine? No, not a prince. Our little Merlot. Then again, it's not exactly wine in the box either. But yes, it's eminently drinkable.
Right. Oh, gosh, look at the time. I have that flight to catch. Thanks. See myself out. God. It's the front door.
Ooh, I really don't want to go back in there.
I wonder if there's any chance that door could be... Well, I can always try. Hey, it's open. Uh-oh. Not yet. I want to look around. Looks like a light switch to me. A black sedan. I knew it. A black sedan. They're storing something in here. Maybe supplies for the winery. It would make too much noise. Guess even vampires have to fix their car. Oh, I don't think a screwdriver is gonna get me out of this. Oh, I wonder why they've painted those windows black. Why would I want to do that? What's up there?
Most sacred. After tonight, the adepts will converge in Cairo.
Oh, shit.
Voila! Mission Night. What are you?
Look, it's the man from the train.